If you're struggling with sciatic pain that goes down your leg, then today's 4-step tutorial is going to help you eliminate the pain in a way that doesn't make the underlying problem worse. Too many people with sciatica end up doing exercises like flossing and knee hugs to try and alleviate the pain, but these make the underlying causes of sciatica worse. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Michael Fatika, the lead osteopath and spine specialist here at Back in Shape. We help people around the UK and all over the world fix their back pain from home and get back in shape for the long term. And just before we start, we're going to give you one tip to make this routine even safer and more effective. And all you need is some tape. You're going to stick this along the spine right down here. You're going to find the 2 dimples at the base of your spine, standing with good posture, and you're going to line the tape up, come up about 1 centimeter, as you're probably going to see on the screen in a moment, and you're going to line the tape just along here. Any tape will do, don't overthink it, but sticking that along your spine is going to help you make sure that the things we're about to do focus through the right areas rather than involve your lower back and compress down on some of the discs at the L4-5 and L5-S1 segment of the spine, which is where the sciatic nerves are most commonly injured, impinged, or irritated. And for a full tutorial on how you can use that tape test, check out the link in the description on how you can use it for squats and other exercises to make sure you get extra feedback as to what your lower back is doing when you're moving in various ways. So these 4 steps can be done anywhere around the home. You can do them sat on a chair, you can do them sat on the bed. But the most important thing is we get that tape on, because that's going to help us the first time we try this get better feedback, and then get into a position ready to start with step number 1. So I'm going to sit side on to you guys so you can see my back a little bit better and what I'm doing. But obviously sit square in the chair. And what I would suggest is choose a chair that has some arms for support. That's really going to help, resting your forearms or your hands, or sit next to the table so you've got room underneath to do the work on the back of the thigh here, but you can also lean and take some of your body weight. This can be really helpful in making the exercise a bit more effective. So you're going to start sitting nice and tall, bum backwards, nice tall with good posture, engaging. You're going to have the painful leg, we're going to do that second, so we're going to demonstrate this on the other leg. Have that painful leg bent underneath you like so that you've got a nice bend and that leg's not doing anything for this stretch. We're going to focus on this side first, the good side, so to speak, or the less bad side, just so we can get a baseline. And we're going to do this for the other stretches as well, so we can understand what it should feel like and then compare it to the bad side as well. So we're going to sit supported with our arms on the chair. The leg we're stretching is going to be out with a slight bend like you can see here. Nice and tall, good spinal posture. Remember, we've got that tape on the back, so it shouldn't be moving during this. And then what we're going to do for 3 to 5 reps is going to be straighten the leg, and you'll feel the stretch come on in the back of the thigh, and relax. Straighten the leg, and relax. Straighten the leg, and relax. Straighten the leg, holding it for a couple seconds, and relax. No movement should happen in the spine here. Then the final part of this stretch is to straighten and hold it there, staying nice and tall, supporting yourself if you need to on the arms or the chair or the table if you're using a table, and really hold that there. Feel that stretch in the back of the thigh. You might be shaking a little bit. You can see I am a little bit as I'm doing this, and just really get that stretch through the back of the thigh here, holding it for that full 20 to 30 seconds, as long as you can. And then once you're finished, you can slowly relax that leg back down and repeat for the other leg. I'll go through it very quickly. We reposition ourselves, reposition your posture, make sure you're nice and tall again, thinking about that tape if you've got it on. Straighten out your bad leg now, the one that we're trying to stretch here. Relax this leg completely. Take a bit of weight on your forearms, on the arms of the chair or on the table, and then do a couple of reps now. Straighten the leg and relax. Straighten the leg and relax. Straighten the leg and relax. Straighten the leg, feel it in the back of the thigh and relax. And then the last one here, we're going to straighten the leg, hold it there, really try and hold it. Keep that good posture. Make sure your back isn't moving as you're holding it here. You might be feeling a bit of stretch, a bit of shaking. Support your body nice so you can really focus on just trying to straighten that leg as much as you can. You're going to feel a little bit of discomfort on the back of the thigh. Depending on where you want to put your foot, that can ease some of the tension a little bit so we can focus to the hamstrings a little bit more. Hold it there, and once you've got to 20, 30 seconds or so, we can then relax back off and move on to the next step. So we can stay in the chair for step number 2, and this is going to be working to mobilize the hips in 2 ways. So similar to the last one, if you need to sit next to a table so you've got a bit of support or have the arms, then please do so. And of course, sit in a way where you feel most supported when you're doing this exercise. I'm sitting a little bit off to the edge so you guys can see what I'm doing here. What we're going to do here is we're going to take again our good leg, or the better leg, and do that one first. We're going to pop it over our knee like so. And we're going to do two things here. Number one, we're going to first press down till you feel the tension in your hip. So press down, hold that, and then relax, and then pull back up towards the opposite shoulder. Hold that, and then relax. Press down, hold it, so you're feeling the tension in your hip, holding it down for a few moments, and then pull back up. And you're going to feel the stretch in a slightly different way as you pull towards the opposite shoulder. Hold it there for a few moments, then press down, hold it there, pressing down with your left arm on the left knee, and then pulling back up to the opposing shoulder, holding it for a few moments. As we can do this 3 or 4 or 5 times, holding for a few seconds on each position. And then the last time we do it, we're going to then press down and we're going to hold it here. Remember to keep your chest tall, to keep your spine still. You shouldn't feel the tape pulling as you're just holding this pressure down, pressing down with the left hand on the left knee, pressing in that direction there, holding it here for this 20 to 30 seconds to finish up this exercise or this stretch. Keeping the chest out, spine nice and neutral. That will focus the stretch to the area we're targeting and keep the back out of the equation. And then we're going to finish. Once we've done 20 to 30 seconds pressing away, we're then going to pull back up and hold this position, possibly with an extra bit of support from the second hand for the final 20 to 30 seconds, pulling in that direction there, over my shoulder, the opposite shoulder. Hold this here. Again, chest nice and tall, core engaged, making sure that tape is not pulling on our back, holding it here for 20 to 30 seconds. And then once we're finished, we can simply relax down slowly and pop the leg down. Now, some of you are going to find it difficult to get the bad leg into that position. So a little trick that can really help here is straighten the leg we're not using and cross the feet like so. And then we can simply walk this back up so that the ankle is above the knee. And then we can just tilt ourselves back and slowly walk our foot in to the point where we're in the starting position. And for some of you, this might be enough of a stretch as it is, so we're just going to work from here. But very briefly, to go through the instructions again on the bad side, you can adjust your foot position to slightly elevate or depress the position of the stretch, and that just needs to be to find a comfortable position to start. And then again, we're going to press away, hold it there for 2 to 3 seconds, pull back in for 2 to 3 seconds, press away for 2 to 3 seconds, pull back in, press away, just mobilizing this hip, pull back in, and then this is rep number 4. So we're going to hold this one for 20 to 30 seconds, hold it pressing away. You can even, as long as you maintain good chest posture, you can even lean down with your forearm like so, pressing out to hold that stretch to make it more comfortable. Remember, with these, we want to have the minimum stress possible on our spine as we're doing this. We're focusing on the hips. Once we get to the end of that 20 to 30 seconds, grab hold, 2 hands, back towards the opposing shoulder, coming up, holding this here for again the 20 to 30 seconds, keeping our chest tall, our spine still, and remembering that tape that might be on our lower back to make sure that's not pulling off our lower back, to check that our back is not being involved in this stretch. And once we've finished that 20 to 30 seconds, we can then simply slowly lean back a little bit and just walk that leg back out and pop it down back like so to move on to the next step. So for reference, I'm 6 foot. This is the size of towel that we're going to be using. And what we're going to do is just roll it nice and thin, twist it in the middle. And that tape that we've done earlier, this is going to go right in the bottom half of where the tape is in our lower back, like so. And we're going to hook it round to the front, and we're going to lock into this position. And we're going to do this sat down. I'll touch on another variation that you can do lying down in a moment. And this is going to decompress our lower back. So we want to have a bit of support on the chair here. So maybe a higher back chair would work better for this one. And all we're going to do is pull forwards with the towel and relax. We're pulling in that direction, arcing our arms up like so with the towel to create a bit of decompression in the lower back. So pulling forwards, and just allow your back to move with this. Forwards and back. We're going to hold the stretch or hold the pull for a second or two and then relax back down. And the important point here is you're not relaxing and flattening the curve. You're not slouching here. We're just going from upright with a little bit more. Upright with a little bit more. Upright with a little bit more. And just getting this gentle pumping happening through our lumbar spine. Now, if you find it more comfortable, it can be a little bit more effective to do this lying down, as you're probably going to see on the screen in a moment. And in that position, you can really just relax and focus on lifting those arms forward and feeling your spine gently lift off the floor and relax back down again. It creates a great pumping in that lower back to decompress the spine, particularly at L4-5 and L5-S1, which again is where injuries can lead to sciatica, stenosis that causes sciatica, and the symptoms that are coming down the leg. So we've just unlocked the hip musculature with the previous 2 steps. This one is decompressing the spine a little bit. Now let's get on to the last step, which is going to be dealing with the congestion and inflammation around those sciatic nerves to take that down effectively. For step number 4, we've got 2 real options here. One's going to be a bit better than the other, and what we're doing here is addressing the source of our sciatica to calm down the inflammation, the congestion in and around the roots of the sciatic nerve down here in the lower back. And it's important that we found the tape test in the first part of today's video, because that gives us the location that we're going to be placing the ice. It's very important that we place this over the spine and not here, not down the leg where the symptoms are. It has to be where they come from when it comes to sciatica. And what we're going to do, option number 1, is we're going to just get an ice pack, frozen peas, something cold that's in the freezer, and stick it straight on this section of the spine. We find the 2 dimples like we did earlier, come in basically where the tape has been and where the towel was on step 3, and place it over there. What I would commonly recommend is you don't walk around like that, holding it in place. You tuck it down the back of your trousers, leave it there for 3 to 5 minutes, walk around the house or something like that, and then take it out. You can do this multiple times a day. That's no problem, but try not to do longer than 5 minutes in one go. We're putting it on to manipulate the circulation in this area, to reduce the inflammation and taking it off and allowing the body to return to normal temperature. We're not putting it on here for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or until it thaws out. That's not the right move. The second option is better, especially if you've got more degenerative issues. It's just more effective at reducing the inflammation and congestion in that area, and that is using contrast bathing. This is where we're placing things in exactly the same location, but we're using some heat for 3 to 5 minutes directly in that same spot, a hot pack, hot water bottle, something warm, right? Placed there, again, tucked in the trousers so that it's there and you don't have to worry about holding it in place. And then immediately we switch that out for some cold ice pack, as we mentioned earlier. And you're going to alternate those 5 minutes of one, 3 to 5 minutes of one, 3 to 5 minutes of the other, and then back and back and back and back for around about 20, 25 minutes, and then you're done. Okay, that's much more effective at reducing and controlling the inflammation, but you've got to do it a couple times a day. But that's the one that I would recommend if you can. It does involve a little bit more faff, a little bit more mess, but if you do it, it really can help a little bit more so than just the icing alone. And that contrast bathing is one of the things that a lot of our members and patients find actually when they do go to the time to do it, it really can control and manage the symptoms very effectively, very quickly. There's also a full step-by-step guide on contrast bathing, link down in the description if you want to check that out after this video, just to make sure you've got your placements and all the other nuances around it correct. When it comes to how many times a day should you do this routine, really it's a great relief-based routine. It's relieving the strain that the hips are putting on the lower back, where the origin of the symptoms and the pain is coming from. It reduces the compression through the lumbar spine periodically when you do it, through the step number 3, and then it reduces the inflammation in that local area, again, step number 4. And if you can do this 2 or 3 times a day, or even more, you're really going to start to manage the excess inflammation and strain that's at the root cause of your sciatica, and it will more or less immediately give some relief from those symptoms once you get it right. Play around with this routine, save the video, maybe send it to yourself or something like that, so you've got it, so you can try it a couple times to get the technique right. Once you've got it right, you're going to find this is really, really effective to relieve and manage the strain as it builds up in your lower back. But the next part is making sure that you're doing something alongside this to get lasting results. Ultimately, we want to give you guys the tools like this to give you moment-to-moment relief. That's really important because the pain can be quite unbearable sometimes, especially with things like sciatica. But we have to ultimately have a strategy to get long-term results, and that's where strengthening comes in. And we've got tutorial videos on movements like the hip hinge, the dead bug, and our full masterclass, all available on the YouTube channel, linked down in the description, to make sure you've got strategies to actually build strength and resilience. Because it's no good relying on this routine for months on end if you're not doing rehabilitation work to actually strengthen that area. And of course, if you need any more help with proper structured approach to strengthening your back, then we've got the full Back in Shape program membership, where we'll support you in that process, give you all the right exercises, tools, training, and the modifications that are necessary to really build your back strength and resolve your sciatica once and for all. And of course, the support to help you along with that, make sure that you're doing things right, and any challenges that you get along the way, you're able to overcome those and move on to the next level. Hopefully you did find this video helpful. Hopefully it got you some relief once you've learned to do it correctly, maybe even straight away, you know, my pain's a little bit less, and that's awesome. Let us know in the comments how you found it. And of course, if you know someone else that's struggling, sciatica can be really bad. It can really get you down and really interfere with even the most simple things that you want to do on a daily basis. So share this video with someone else you know who's been struggling, and hopefully it can help them too. As always, thanks if you made it this far through the tutorial video. I do hope it was helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.